The hour of convening having arrived, all members of the House will please report to the floor of the House. All members of this House, please report for work. The clerk will ring the bell. All members of the House will please report to the floor and take your seats. All members of the House. We are going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. Well, good morning. I got a feeling we're going to have a good day today. So that's always a good feeling to have in the morning. We will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the gentleman from the 68th House District, the chairman of the House Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee, Chairman Jay Collins. Chairman Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What a privilege and an honor it is today to introduce the chaplain of the day, Pastor Chad Williams. Chad is the lead pastor of Highview Church in my hometown, Villa Rica, Georgia. That little church has grown from just 5 people to several hundred people since its founding in 2013. It's one of the fastest growing community churches in the West Georgia area. Highview is extremely active in our community, hosting one of the largest local outreach ministries in West Georgia, and serves food and other basic necessities to hundreds of families in the West Georgia area. Chad has trained leaders in both the business community and the faith-based community. He has a Master of Divinity from Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. Chad and his wife, Kaylee, live in Villa Rica and have 2 daughters, Lydia, who is 4, and Reagan, who is 9 months. Chad's also a cousin of mine. I attended his first birthday party when he turned 1. Our grandmothers are sisters. And I'm so very proud. Our family is so very proud of Chad and the ministry that he has shown and the leadership he has shown to our community. So it's a pleasure today to present Pastor Chad Smith. Chad Williams.
Well, good morning. It is a high privilege and honor to stand before this legislative body of our great state this morning. I can say I am a proud Georgia citizen. I was born here. I started a family here, and I lead a church here. At 16, I even got my first job at a local Chick-fil-A wearing the cow suit, so you know I'm Georgia through and through. Let me say, as a pastor, I have never been more thankful to be a Georgia citizen than I have over the last 2 years. Over the last 2 years, we have all been reminded of the unique stewardship that leadership is. Leadership gives the power to influence. It gives the power to shape lives every day. And for many of you, that is why you are here today. That's why you're away from your families or your businesses and your communities to serve to that end. And with that influence, of course, that leadership gives us comes great responsibility. With the power to influence comes the power to create human flourishing or suffering. And in light of these truths and in light of the unique moment in human history that we are all living in, I wanted to briefly this morning share with you from the Scriptures a few truths about leadership here in these next few moments. They are very simple, yet they are also profound because they are from the Word of God. God appoints leaders. Leadership is temporary. Eternity is forever. In Romans 13, verse 1, the Apostle Paul says this: "Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God." God appoints leaders. Each and every one of us in this room holds some type of leadership office only because God decreed it. Leadership is not ultimately a prize that we win. It is a gift that we receive. And it is a gift that we must steward. We must steward this gift for the good of those we've been called to lead and for the glory of God. The truth is, our time to lead in this life is very short. As a pastor, I'm reminded of this daily. God not only raises up leaders, God also removes leaders. And this has always been true. From Adam's failure to lead in Eden and his subsequent removal, we have been reminded of this reality: leadership is temporary. Daniel 2, verse 21 says this: "The Lord changes times and seasons. He removes kings and sets up kings." There is quickly coming a day when you will not hold your office and I will not hold mine. If nothing else, death always wins the runoff. And one day, when our time to lead is up, when this life is over, we will all stand before God, each of us. And we will give an answer for how we stewarded the gift of leadership that He has given us. 2 Corinthians 5, verse 10, the Apostle Paul says this: "For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each one may receive what is due for what he has done in the body, whether good or evil. And on that day, we will all stand before the only leader in the universe whose position is permanent, who never runs for re-election. That's King Jesus. And my hope on that final day is not ultimately in my righteousness, nor is it in my performance as a leader, as a pastor, as a community leader. My only hope for that day is this: by repenting of my sins and trusting in Christ and His perfect life, sacrificial death, and bodily resurrection, I will stand on that day covered by His righteousness alone. And I will hear the words that we are all aching to hear: "Well done, my good and faithful servant." Would you stand with me? Let us pray together. Oh Lord, thank you for this moment, for this opportunity and time to encourage with your word. Thank you for these civil servants, these men and women whom you've appointed for this hour. Bless them. Bless their constituents. Bless this state. Empower these men and women for the work you have appointed them to do. for the good of our communities, for the good of the state of Georgia, and for your glory. And it is in the name of Jesus that we ask these things. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. Members may greet the chaplain in the South Ante room. Chair recognizes the chairman of the Committee on Information and Audits, Chairman Hogan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal of the previous legislative day and found it to be correct. And furthermore, Mr. Speaker, without farmers, you would be naked, hungry, and sober.
Well, 2 out of 3 is not bad, I guess. Chairman Hogan, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. Burns, 159th moves finally be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 1608 by Representative Chokas, the 138th, Dubnik of the 29th, Jones the 25th, Kelly the 16th, Blackman of the 146th, and others. Will be titled an act to amend Chapter 6 and Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the Department of Audits and Accounts.
Budget and Fiscal Affairs Oversight.
House Bill 1609 by Representative Perkel, 155th, Hatchett, the 150th. The bill being titled Act to amend Chapter 7 and Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to regulation and construction of hospitals.
Health and Human Services.
House Bill 1610 by Representative Williamson of the 115th. Bill being titled Act to amend Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to local government.
Governmental Affairs.
House Resolution 1149 by Representative Washburn of the 141st, Burns 159th, Hall the 32nd, Gunner of the 8th, Crow the 110th. A resolution creating a House Study Committee on Regulation, Affordability, and Access to Housing.
Small Business Development.
House Resolution 1167 by Representative Setzler, the 35th. Resolution recognizing the mayors of Ackworth and dedicating a bridge in their honor.
Transportation.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 1603 by Representative Yerta of the 152nd, a bill to amend an act to create the City of Sylvester Public Facilities Authority. House Bill 1611 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, a bill to amend an act to create the Savannah Development and Renewal Authority. House Resolution 1127 by Representative Oliver of the 82nd, a resolution creating the House Study Committee on Development Authorities and Downtown Development Authorities. House Resolution 1128 by Representative Wilson of the 80th, Oliver of the 82nd, Shannon of the 84th, Cannon of the 58th, Evans of the 75th, 57th. A resolution recognizing and commending Stacy Fox on her tenure as President and CEO of Planned Parenthood Southeast. House Resolution 1147 by Representative Donohue of the 30th, Kelly of the 16th, Parsons of the 44th, Benton of the 31st, Washburn of the 141st, and others. Resolution urging the President of the United States to consider the current geopolitical tensions and support policies to take measures to ensure America's long-term energy affordability, security, leadership, and progress. House Resolution 1148 by Representatives Thomas of the 21st, Carson of the 46th, Cantrell of the 22nd, Ballinger of the 23rd. Resolution urging Cherokee County and the cities of Woodstock, Canton, Holly Springs, Bell Ground, and Waleska to adopt annexation, growth, boundary agreements, and joint land use plans. Senate Bill 636 by Senator Burns of the 23rd, a bill to amend an act constituting the Board of Education of Warren County. Senate Bill 639 by Senator Strickland of the 17th and Jones of the 10th, a bill to amend an act to provide for a new Board of Commissioners from Henry County. 3 second readers.
Reports of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Representative Robert Dickey, the 140th District Chairman, Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs is that under consideration following resolution of the House, instructed me to report same back to the House following recommendations. House Resolution 943 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Dickey, the 140th District Chairman. Representative Josh Bonner of the 72nd District, Vice Chairman of the Committee on Defense and Veteran Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Defense and Veteran Affairs has had under consideration the following resolution of the House. Has instructed me to report same back to the House following recommendations. House Resolution 896 to pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Josh Bonner of the 72nd District Chairman. Representative Jan Tankers of the 160th District Chairman on Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination and Locals, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination and Locals had under consideration the following bills of the House and Senate. Has instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1604 do pass. House Bill 1606 do pass. Senate Bill 635 do pass. Senate Bill 637 do pass. House Bill 1607 do pass. Senate Bill 632 do pass. House Bill 1605 do pass. Senate Bill 638 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Jan Tankers of the 160th District Chairman. Representative James Burchett of the 176th District Chairman on Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil has had under consideration the following bills of the Senate. Has instructed me to report same back to the House the following recommendations. Senate Bill 10 do pass by committee substitute. Senate Bill 539 do pass. Senate Bill 591 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative James Burchett of the 176th District Chairman. Representative Alan Powell of the 32nd District Chairman on Committee on Regulated Industries, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Regulated Industries had in consideration the following bills of the Senate and has instructed me to report same back to the House the following recommendations. Senate Bill 45 to pass by substitute. Senate Bill 352 to pass by committee substitute. Senate Bill 445 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Alan Powell of the 32nd District Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
All right, we're going on now to the local calendar. Going on to the local calendar, third reading and passage of uncontested local bills. We're getting ready to do business, and it would really be helpful to many members that like to pay attention to what goes on in the well for the noise level in here to be lowered several notches. We have two local calendars today. We have a local calendar and then we have a supplemental local calendar. Is there any objection to taking those up together? Hearing none, they will be taken up during one vote. If there is no objection, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none, it is so ordered, and the clerk will read the local calendars.
House Bill 1604 by Representative Houston of the 170th, City of Ada. House Bill 1606 by Representative Clark of the 147th, Houston County. Senate Bill 635 by Senator Strickland of the 17th, Henry County. Senate Bill 637 by Senator Brass of the 28th, City of Sonoma. House Bill 1607 by Representative Bentley of the 139th, Taylor County. Senate Bill 632 by Senator Anderson of the 43rd, Rockdale County. House Bill 1605 by Representative Werkheiser of the 157th, City of Claxton. Senate Bill 638 by Senator Anderson of the 43rd, Rockdale County.
Don't let that get far. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bills on the local calendar will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of the bills on the local calendar and the supplemental local calendar. The ayes are 159, the nays are 5. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. All right, we have some important business to take up. On Tuesday, March 29, this House failed to pass House Bill 479. The lady from the 122nd District served notice of a motion to reconsider the action of the House in failing to give House Bill 479 the requisite majority. Now is the time for the lady to pursue the motion if she so desires.
I move.
She so desires. On the lady's motion that this House reconsider its action in failing to give House Bill 479 a requisite constitutional majority, all those in favor of reconsideration will vote aye. Those opposed to reconsideration will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the lady's motion for reconsideration, the ayes are 101, the nays are 62, and this House has reconsidered its action in failing to give House Bill 479 the requisite constitutional majority. That bill will go back on the general calendar, subject to call at any time today or Friday or Monday. We're going on now to morning orders. Morning orders will be limited to 1 minute each. 1 minute each. Chair recognizes Representative Campbell for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I would like to I come to you today, would like to give a quick acknowledgement and thanks to our medical station, our legislative medical station that we have here in the Capitol. That's located on the second floor. I'm sure you all know that, room 232. I had a medical situation a few weeks back, and they handled it perfectly. They were able to get a doctor in quickly, so they have access to doctors quickly. Came in and could not have done it better. They assisted me in getting to Emory Hospital and in there. They just did a great job. So I wanted to publicly thank them and to remind all of us that they're there for our use. And they're very capable, very good, and so use them if you need them. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Sam Watson for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've got a few others that are going to join me. Today it's my honor to recognize Tom Risco. Tom Risco began work here for the state of Georgia on December the 27th, 1967. He will retire August of this year. When Tom started work here, gas was 32 cents a gallon. Lyndon P. Johnson was president, and Lester Maddox was the governor of Georgia. The first Super Bowl was also played, and the tickets were $12. Andy Griffith was the most watched TV show in America. Tom has seen a lot. He served in the Vietnam War in the Air Force. He has worked for the state of Georgia for 54 years, and you don't see that anymore. People are what make the state employees, and the people of this state are what make our state great, and they're what make our job easy. And I can't thank Tom enough. He's in the back there. He's going to be in the ante room. If you would, just please stand and help me honor Tom Risco. Tom Calvin Smyrie says hello. Calvin's the only person that Tom remembers was here when he started work. So thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield to Will.
Chair recognizes Representative Angela Moore for a morning order.
Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to remind you that we're having House District 90 today in room 216. It incorporates DeKalb, Rockdale, and Henry counties. And since I represent everyone in my district, I have invited everyone to come in. Drop a little knowledge on everyone, introduce yourself, pick up something, go. Have a great day.
Chair recognizes Representative Dukes for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Initially, when I signed up for a morning order, it was definitely not for this purpose, but I too want to thank the medical health staff. Yesterday, I had a situation, and they sent me to Emory, and it was a rewarding experience. I'll be going back later on. But the reason I come here today is that I want to share with you some of the unsung heroes of our community. This could have been done during Black History Month, but Black history is American history. Thank you, Mr. Williams. But Black history is American history. And I want to share with you a man by the name of Peter Dormady. You see, he was born a slave in Ozark, Alabama. And he dreamed and hoped and prayed to be free. And then it came. And he and his cousin, Abram Cheney, walked from Ozark, Alabama, and they settled in the Baggs Ferry Plantation down in southwest Mitchell County, down in Representative Campbell's district. And shortly after being there, they established a church called the Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church. It was born in a brush harbor, a secret gathering place where that freed people could practice religion and religious tradition. People came together with guidance and hope and reassurance. They came and praised and worshiped God and offered their confessions to Christ.
Gentlemen's time has expired. I allowed you 30 seconds over. You may have to do the sequel tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And the benediction will continue tomorrow.
Chair recognizes Representative Williamson for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just got news a few minutes ago that Walton County lost one of its finest citizens. Roy Nunley Roberts, was a graduate of Atlanta High School. I can't remember exactly which one. He was an all-state football and basketball player. He turned down scholarships offers at the University of Georgia and both Georgia Tech because both of them wanted to play football in addition to basketball. He accepted his college scholarship to the University of Kentucky, where Adolph Rupp declared him to be the most tenacious defensive player he ever coached. He was a husband, father, grandfather. He was a leader in our community. He established the Walton County GOP 40 years ago after running unsuccessfully as a Democrat, and he kept everything right in the middle of the road. Has one of the last great Republican barbecues, and he's well respected, and I appreciate a moment of silence for Roy Roberts and his family. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I'll ask all House members to please take your seats. All House members will be seated, please. All House members will go to their seats. Chair recognizes Chairman Jan Tankersley for a special order.
Good morning, friends. To my very distinguished friends and my colleagues, it's really bittersweet to stand before you today to talk about my retirement. My decision to not seek re-election was not easy at all, but after many prayers, thoughts, and conversations with my husband and my family, God granted me this amazing peace, and it's been with me every day. I'm so thankful for that, because 2 years ago, I thought I wanted to leave, and then I wanted to stay, and it was back and two. This year, it's been an entirely different situation. But about 4 years ago, I bought a plaque that hangs in my bathroom so that I can see it every day, and I'm reminded on a daily basis that I don't really know what tomorrow holds for me, but God does, and I'm claiming His promise. I've claimed it every day since I hung that verse, and the verse says, "For I know the plans I have for you. They are plans for good and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." And I believe in that scripture and that God is in control, even on days when we feel like here in the house that maybe He's not, but He is. But let me tell you a little bit about my family. Huey couldn't be with us today because he had a group of guys coming, and they've had it planned for a long time. They're going to be in a golf tournament tomorrow, and So I wanted him to have his fun. But anyway, we've been married for almost 56 years, and he is the love of my life and my best friend. We met in high school and dated, and there was never anyone else for either one of us. He just loves everything about rural Georgia. He is not a city guy. I can't bring him up here and let him sit in the condo and stare at the concrete. And he's just not one to sit around and hang out. But no, he loves people, and he loves to talk to people. But he just loves everything rural Georgia can provide, and that's friendly people, hunting and fishing in the Geechee River, gardening, and spending time with friends and family. He takes great joy, as you all know, in growing vegetables. He is amazed at Representative Sam Watson, Chairman Watson. He always wants to know how things are going for him, and Robert Dickey with the peaches. But anyway, he loves to share the bounty of that garden with everybody he knows. So he has a great time doing that. Now, he retired about 6 years ago, and after living on his own for 12 years, I mean, it's been 12 years. It happened in the blink of an eye that I came up here, and the next thing I know, it's 12 years later. So I am pretty sure that Huey's going to need some retraining, and I think I may too. I mean, I've had a great roommate that has taken good care of me, so anyway, I'm going to have to do some retraining too. But he's stubborn, and sometimes he makes decisions about my things that I just don't understand. Like, there was one time I asked him to bring this tall, narrow chest of drawers so that I could use it in the condo here in Atlanta. Well, he came in on that Friday, and he was just as happy as he could be with the chest of drawers strapped down in the back of the truck. I helped him unload it and stand it upright on the concrete floor in the garage. But right away, I noticed that it just didn't seem as tall as I remembered. And worse than that, I noticed that it rocked a little bit. With my heart racing, I casually shared my observations with Huey, and I asked him, what happened to my chest? Well, confidently and pretty proudly, he said, well, it was too long and I couldn't shut the tailgate. So I cut off part of the bottom. I mean, I really lost my breath for a second or two, and I felt, I'm honest with y'all, I mean, I just felt this hot rush of anger, and I just wanted to take his head off. But I said, I mean, I was thinking to myself, really, Huey, you couldn't have given me just a little quick call to see what I thought about that? But instead, like a lot of us married couples do, I just took a deep breath and said, well, okay, I don't think it'll wobble on the carpeted floor in my bedrooms. And that just sounds so gracious on my part, like I'm so great, right? But the reality was I knew I could just go buy another chest and a better one than I even had, and he would not say one word. I was sure of that. So anyway, we got through that, and there's just not as much time as I wish I did have to tell you about all the incredible, funny, and wonderful things that Huey does for me. Just know that he is an amazing, confident man. He's got a great sense of humor, and he can take care of himself, and he's one who has made it very clear that he wants us to enjoy the remainder of our time together and with our family. And we do have a wonderful family. Our daughter and her husband live on Lake Lanier. Our daughter, Donna, no, I already said that. They have a son, our first grandchild, Tyler, and he has a beautiful wife. They were just married in September, and they live in Marietta. And then our son, Russell, and Heather Tankersley both live in Warner Robins. They have a daughter, Megan, and she's a nursing student at West Georgia University. And they also have a son, a 15-year-old son, Landon, who enjoys playing baseball as a pitcher on varsity at Houston County High School. And sometimes he plays as a middle fielder on junior varsity. They've been playing in tournaments for the past week or so, and I've had the opportunity to watch him on video, and I have squeezed in one game in person. But it's just amazing to watch him, and as a 10th grader, he's pitching between 81 and 83 mile per hour balls, and they say his moneymaker is his curveball. So we just look forward to and we're so excited that we're going to have unlimited time to travel around and see some exciting games, gather as a family at the lake, and just have time with each other to enjoy our home, our friends, and our community. Of course, and then there's the garden and Huey's new flock of chickens. On a side note, I had to share with y'all, in a previous group of chickens we raised from biddies, we ended up with a handsome rooster that we named Mr. Speaker. And he knows. And the funny thing about Mr. Speaker, when we got these biddies, I think Huey ordered about 20, and we did not want roosters. You don't have to have roosters to get eggs. So, but anyway, we raised them from biddies, and finally they got big enough. Two of the red biddies, or what we thought were red hens, started crowing. But the black hen, or we thought the black one was a hen, but we thought that's a pretty big hen. Well, the two red roosters fought like crazy, terrorized the hens, and finally Huey got rid of them. And then the big black hen started crowing, and we named him Mr. Speaker. So, but he was so protective of those hens that if our friends came over in a golf cart to visit, he would try to fly up in the cart with them and go into the attack mode. So we finally just had to give him away. And because we know that once a rooster becomes mean, they never become nice again. So we think he ended up. Sorry, Mr. So I'm sad to say, though, I think he may have ended up at somebody's Sunday dinner. But anyway, as far as politics go, and that's why we're all here, it's hard to believe that I've served in public office for a total of 27 years. My first political experience was serving on Brooklet City Council, and I stayed there for 5 years. And I will tell you that what got me involved with that City Council was because they had an awesome peanut festival every year, and I worked with the committee that put that on. And so then I went for 10 years with the Bullitt County Board of Commissioners, followed by 12 years here as a state representative in House District 160. It's interesting to note that I had the honor of serving as the first female to be elected in all three of these seats, and that I was encouraged to run by a seated member of each of these bodies. And of course, they were all men. They were great men, but they were all men. I'm proud to say I've never lost an election. During the last year that I served as a county commissioner, I was also elected to serve as president of the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia. The funny thing is, I really never wanted to be a politician, and I heard someone else say that. I never intended to, but I did volunteer a good bit in the community and loved doing that. But when I was asked by a city council member to run for Brooklet City Council, I remember emphatically saying, no, I don't want to be a politician. I said it and I thought of it as an undesirable thing to want to do. Of course, as I've learned over time, it is an honor and a privilege to serve, and I will forever remain grateful for this journey in my life. Today, I especially want to thank Speaker Ralston for his strong leadership and his friendship over the past 12 years. He is someone that I tremendously respect. I believe him to be a very gifted leader who rules with compassion, and he balances it with political prowess. More than anyone else, I know he understands the needs of Georgians, whether they live in rural, suburban, or metro areas of our state. The Speaker is dedicated to this House and the people we serve in our wonderful state of Georgia. He often reminds us all not to introduce legislation unless the bill will dramatically improve the lives of all Georgians. This is great counsel, and many of us, all of us, need to remember that wise advice. The Speaker has graciously allowed me to serve as chairman of Intergovernmental Coordination Committee since 2013. That's a good call to get. When you get a call, I was beginning my third year, I believe, and it was the Speaker on the phone, and that was an exciting day. That's a phone call you want to get. But I've had so much pleasure. I've just been given the pleasure of working with each of you, your local governments, and your constituents. I just want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, and you, my friends and colleagues, for giving me the honor of trusting me with your local issues. We've had a great team working on these bills during my 9 years as chair, and while there are too many to mention individually, I'd like to personally thank the clerk's office, the reapportionment office, legislative council, my admins, interns, and aides, especially Connor Cheeley, and my 2 policy analysts over the years, Leo Chansey and Blake Doss. They have been such a valuable asset to me and just an absolute joy to work with, and I know that they've interacted with probably every one of you on this House floor, and they just do an amazing job. You all know that this has been a particularly busy committee this year, but really it's busy every year, and y'all are so good to wait till the last minute and get a lot of things done. But to date, we've processed almost 400 bills this session. That's a lot of bills. Thank you. And I know that this year has been rough for many of us, especially regarding redistricting. But during my time as chair of the local committee, we've strived to keep this committee civil by treating one another with respect. It's my hope that House members will endeavor to keep this attitude and remember that there is much more that unites us than divides us. Don't forget that. You can't begin to appreciate that, having served with men only until I was elected to the House, how much I value serving with other strong women in leadership. Leaders like Speaker Pro Tem Jan Jones. She has been both a mentor and a friend. When I came in, I was so encouraged by the women that were already here and the women who came in with me, but the women who were already here, some of those were people like Barbara Sims, Sharon Cooper, Katie Dempsey, Darlene Taylor, and Lynn Smith. This list also, of course, includes Penny Houston and Lynn Riley. These 2 have truly become the sisters I always wish I had. I had 2 brothers, one older, one younger. Penny has an older brother and a younger brother, and we act like sisters. And Lynn has just been a wonderful friend to me and continues to be. But anyway, I shared a condo for about 4 years with Penny, and prior to that with Lynn. Together with all these women, we've laughed and celebrated life events, and at times, I'll just admit, we've done a little plotting and planning on legislative issues, campaigns, and life in general. I'm so encouraged and thankful for other women that have joined us over the past few years. I'm also proud of the fine men that I've served with in the past and those I'm serving with now. I have great respect for each of them, and I've been so fortunate to have Majority Leader Burns and Chairman Butch Parrish as my fellow delegation members. Overall, we have worked very well together. Serving the people I represent under the dome, in this house, and in this beautiful room has been one of the greatest honors of my life. There have been a lot of defining moments for me over the years, but my time with each of you will remain as a cherished memory for many years to come. Thank you for everything. I love you all.
Lady of Pure Class. We're going to suspend 2 or 3 minutes, let you greet Chairman Tankersley. I would ask that you do that somewhat expeditiously, though, because we need to get onto the rules calendar. Okay, House will come back to order. House will come back to order. Mr. Clerk, you want to ring the bell? Okay, we're on the rules calendar. I'm going to ask council members that wish to listen to the presentations to take your seats. Those of you who have already read all the bills, the committee reports, and everything else, you can go outside and take your conversations with you when you go. We're going to do some work here, and then we'll take a lunch break later on. Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 1025.
House Resolution 1025 by Representative Williamson of the 115th and others, recognizing copper as critical to the state of Georgia and urging for its inclusion on the official United States Geological Survey critical minerals list. This resolution has been assigned to the Committee on Natural Resources and Environment. That committee recommends that this resolution be adopted.
Chair recognizes Representative Williamson to present the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, thank you for reminding all of us it's very important we read all the bills that comes before this body. And I know that this House has read House Resolution 1025. It speaks for itself, and I would urge you to vote yes to add copper to the U.S. Geological critical minerals list. Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All those in favor of the adoption of the resolution will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the adoption of the resolution, the ayes are 162, the nays are 1. This resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 553.
Senate Bill 553 by Senator Robertson, the 29th Brass, the 28th Jones, the 25th, and others, be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 7, Title 52 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions of registration, operation, and sales of watercraft. This bill having referred to the Committee on Game, Fish, and Parks, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Chairman Collins to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I come before this body today to present Senate Bill 553. It's a very simple piece of legislation that will allow those young people 15 years of age or a little older to operate Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3 vessels on our state waterways, as long as they have a permit or identification and accompanied by an 18-year-old adult who is authorized to operate such vessels. It's a very simple piece of legislation. Mr. Speaker, I'll yield the well. Ask for your favorable consideration.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of Senate Bill 553. The ayes are 162, the nays are 6. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 363.
Senate Bill 363 by Senator Tillery, the 19th Brass of the 28th Mullis, the 53rd, and others, be entitled an act to amend Part 2 of Article 15, Chapter 1 of Title 10 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the Fair Business Practices Act of 1975, so as to provide for class action suits for damages. This bill having referred to the Committee on Judiciary, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair recognizes Representative Wiedauer to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I bring you Senate Bill 363. This is a continuation of a measure that I passed last year with your support, House Bill 153. It's the solicitation or for filings for the state that look much like state documents but are certainly not. This actually just allows for some teeth in the legislation that we put forward last year that allows for a $200 penalty per violation, which would allow for actual class action lawsuits should these companies continue to act in such a manner. It's a good consumer protection bill. Mr. Speaker, I think it's as simple as that. I ask for your favorable consideration. I yield the will.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of Senate Bill 363. The ayes are 169, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 404.
Senate Bill 404 by Senator Albers, the 56th, Robertson of the 29th, Mullis, the 53rd, and others, be titled an act to amend Article 3, Chapter 11, and Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to emergency medical services personnel, so as to authorize the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, to retain certain fingerprints under certain conditions. This bill I referred to the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Representative Brad Thomas to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I present Senate Bill 404. This is an agency bill for the Georgia Department of Public Health and is supported by the EMS industry. Under current law, individuals seeking licensure as an emergency services personnel must submit a fingerprint criminal history check. Under this bill, GBI would be authorized to retain fingerprints of emergency medical services personnel so the DPH can participate in a federal program run by the FBI called RAPBAC, allowing for ongoing review of an individual's criminal history. This bill requires the DPH to notify the individual whose fingerprints were taken of the parameters of such retention, and it also requires that if an individual is no longer licensed by the DPH, the fingerprint records are removed from the system. This policy is widely used by several sister agencies, and with that, it's a pretty straightforward bill, and I yield the well and ask for your favorable consideration. Thank you.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of Senate Bill 404. The ayes are 159. The nays are 6. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 343.
Senate Bill 343 by Senator Hufstedler, the 52nd Tillery, the 19th Orrock, and the 36th, and others, be entitled an act to amend Title 47 of the official code of Georgia Antietam relating to retirements and pensions so as to remove the prohibition of granting post-retirement benefit adjustments to any individual. This bill then referred to the Committee on Retirement. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chair recognizes Chairman Carson to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Present to you the Senate Bill 343 substitute. What this bill does now is increases the 401k contributions. This bill is an effort to move to more of a defined contribution plan for state employees, as well as increase state employee retention in the current job market. Currently, a state employee contributes 1%, and then the state matches 0.5% for every additional 1% up to 5%. So if you contribute 5%, the state would match 2% to a total of 7. Under this bill, it's a simple dollar for dollar up to 5%, and after year 5 of service, an additional 0.5% per year up to a total of 9%. In short, after 13 years or more of service to the state, an employee has state matching contributions of 9% maximum. This bill, you might notice on the second page, this bill also ensures that forfeited leave is accounted to the state agency in which it is earned by the employee. Language in regard to COLAs and so forth has been removed. With that, Mr. Speaker, it's a very simple bill about 401k matching, and with that, Mr. Speaker, I will yield the will.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of Senate Bill 343, the ayes are 168, the nays are 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Chair recognizes Chairman Sam Watson for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rural Caucus will meet upon adjournment for lunch today in 201 Department of Agriculture. We've got Chick-fil-A there as our host today. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Becky Evans for an announcement.
The DeKalb delegation will meet in person in room 514 with a hot lunch. Thank you.
You might want to listen up. The chair recognizes the chairman of the House Rules Committee, Chairman Smith, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Rules Committee will meet at 1:30, and we'll set the supplemental calendar for this afternoon.
House Rules Committee is meeting at 1:30 this afternoon. 1:30. This House will be in recess until 1:45 for lunch.